Hey guys, welcome back to another pickup video. I'm going to go over what I got in the month of September 2019. Got a nice little stack of Blu-rays and 4Ks to go over. And we'll start with what I got from Best Buy, or at least Best Buy editions. This was not purchased at Best Buy, but this is the Best Buy exclusive edition of Christopher Nolan's Inception on Blu-ray. Nice big fat box. It's got the Blu-ray in here with the lenticular slipcover, and it's got the shooting script here as well. Again, this is brand new, sealed. Got at Second and Charles. I paid $3.99 for it, which is about 10 times less than it retail for. So this was an absolute steal. I was going to pick this up on 4K at some point because I do like the movie quite a bit, but this was the deal I couldn't pass up. So I'm going to unwrap this one day and throw it on the shelf. But it's a really good looking set, if nothing else, just to get that lenticular slipcover. They actually had the Blu-ray only with a slip on sale right next to it for 10 bucks. So for $4, it was a fantastic value and a great purchase. Another one, these are all from Best Buy. The Best Buy exclusive 4K steelbook of Gremlins. Now this artwork, I don't recall this being inspired from anything in the movie, maybe from the beginning when Gizmo was first picked up. I can't quite picture the inspiration for this artwork, but it is better than the actual slipcover non-steelbook version. So, and this will be a marked improvement because the only other version of Gremlins that I do have is the original Warner Brothers Snapper Case DVD. So going from DVD to 4K would be a big improvement. There's a digital copy and a Blu-ray disc in here as well. So I'll give this a watch here pretty soon. It's almost the time. You know, this is kind of a Halloween, kind of a Christmas movie. So I think it fits the season though. So we'll give this a watch pretty soon. I'm sure it looks great. Next one here is a rebuy. This is the movie. This is the 2018 Halloween. This is the McFarlane Best Buy exclusive steelbook, 4K, Blu-ray, and digital copy. I had the slipcover variant of this because I didn't care for the original Best Buy exclusive that came out. But then this one came out, and these were restocked recently at a decent price point of 20 bucks. So I sold off the old copy and for about $10, and I went ahead and bought this. So I think it's exactly the same, except I got the steelbook packaging, and I think this is a much better designed steelbook than the one that came out earlier in the year. Next up is the John Wick 3, or John Wick Parabellum 4K Blu-ray steelbook. There's the back. And I think a lot of people preferred the Target edition over this one. I thought this one was actually pretty cool compared to that one, but I guess you can't go wrong with either one. The 4K presentation on this is ridiculously good. There's your two discs there. As you can see, I have one on each side, and more on that in a second. But I think this is a reference disc for what 4K and HDR can really do. This looked and sounded fantastic, and I didn't really have like a high-end setup or anything, and it just looked incredible. So if you're on the fence, or if you haven't seen this, or if you've got an old DVD or something of these films, or you bought the DVD, not the Blu-ray, or not the 4K, or whatever, if you don't have this, get it. The film is great. The trilogy is a lot of fun. Looking forward to the fourth one, and this is a fantastic release here. Even if you get the standard edition, you're going to get the same disc content. So, but I prefer my steelbook. So, very, very nice addition to have the collection there. Oh, and this was delivered to. No, it wasn't delivered at all. I had to cancel my order with Best Buy and get my refund, and I had to go to the store and pick it up because they didn't deliver it when they said they did. It's crazy. Another issue with this is the Shining Best Buy exclusive steelbook, 4K and Blu-ray. And I do believe this is inspired by the original poster, at least the color scheme is. So here's another thing here, but no consistency with how these things are produced. Saw John Wick had one disc on each side. This has both discs on one. It's not a big deal. I'm going to be just pulling out the 4K anyway, but I pre-ordered this a long time ago, and then that never got shipped. Then I got an alert from Best Buy that it probably wouldn't ship until the end of the month. So 2 in a row, one never got here. This one never even got sent. So I had to go cancel my order and actually go to the store and pick it up, which was kind of nice to save on shipping, but a little annoying. Maybe next time I'll just go ahead and place an order at the store so I can go ahead and get it. But I heard this looks great. I haven't watched it yet, but I plan on to soon. Again, Halloween season, perfect movie for the season. And I've heard it looks fantastic. The last Blu-ray I've heard was just kind of a mess. I'm looking forward to an improved transfer. And I heard that the Blu-ray in this set is struck from the same 4K transfer as the 4K UHD disc. So, and I've never purchased The Shining before, so really excited to have that in my collection because it's a great movie. Next up here, a couple things from Arrow Video. This is Scared Stiff. This is the Diabolic DVD exclusive slipcover. They had a handful of them. If you bought it from them in time, you got that. There's the interior. Flip this upside down. And there's even another alternate cover art. I'm not really familiar with this film, so I can't say which is which, but here's some older art from the film. And I got this mainly because it's an exclusive slipcover, of course, and also because this is the same director that did Doom Asylum. And while it was largely a forgettable movie, it was rather enjoyable and kind of funny. And I thought if you could do the same thing again with this, it'd be a good pickup. But this is kind of boring. If I remember correctly, it was about a wealthy landowner in the South was killed by some voodoo priests, and then someone buys his house in modern times, and the voodoo curse comes back, and the child starts seeing stuff, and the stepdad is all crazy and doing stuff, and it was really boring until the last 10 minutes or so. Lots of cool practical effects, and I kind of wish they would have done more of that throughout the enther film. This guy here with the zippers on his head was really cool. You saw him for a minute towards the end, but he unzipped his head, and it was a really cool effect. Not a glowing review, kind of a ho-hum film, but with the slip on there, it's kind of cool. Maybe it'll be something I can resell and just get some money back for, or maybe I'll watch it again down the road and appreciate it. Who knows? But Scared Stiff on Blu-ray. It does look great. Arrow did a great job again. I think this is a 2K transfer. Yeah, it's 2K restoration. So for, being a kind of whatever film, it looks fantastic. So at least there's that. Speaking of ho-hum films, I had to get this one. Hills Have Eyes Part 2, Arrow. There's a big box edition. Haven't opened it yet, but I will soon. So like usual with these, you get the movie, you get a little booklet, you get the hard box here. This film is kind of a mess. I think if I remember correctly, they were kind of in a rush to put it together. Kind of like a Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 kind of thing, where there's some new stuff, but a lot of it was inserts from the first film or flashbacks. So I know it's kind of a mess. I know it's not really a good movie, far from being a great movie. But if there's one of these I'm remotely interested in from Arrow, I usually end up picking them up. They're not that expensive, and they're just cool to have in the collection. So, and I had the first one in the limited set, which I think you can still get. Either it was not that limited or no one bought it. I think this one will probably be the same. They'll probably start liquidating these pretty soon. But I'll open this one up and probably do a back-to-back Hills Have Eyes 1 and 2 movie night one night. Despite it being a mess, I'm just kind of happy to have both films from Arrow, and identical packaging is really cool. That's it for Arrow. Jump over to what I got from Scream Factory. Brand new Scream Factory release. This is John Carpenter's Vampires on Blu-ray. Have not gotten into this one yet. I don't know if I've ever said this, but I don't believe that John Carpenter can do any wrong. I love everything he's done, including this. This is a great late 90s vampire movie. Lots of really cool effects in here. James Woods stars as the vampire hunter. And John Carpenter's Vampires. I mean, how can you go wrong? It's a really great, fun movie. Can't wait to see how it looks. I think they did a new transfer in this. I know there was another Blu-ray that was released in the past. I don't know if this is a brand new transfer or they ported it out and just did something else. But either way, I had the old Universal DVD. So again, just like Gremlins, be a big, big, big update to get this on Blu-ray. And I'm looking forward to watching it. Two films, one loved or at least liked, and one not so much. Tales from the Crypt presents Demon Knight on Blu-ray. eBay purchase here. You see it's not in the greatest shape, but it's not too bad. These aren't too expensive if you get them used or you just find someone trying to unload it. There's the original cover art, and there's your Blu-ray, single Blu-ray. This is a lot of fun. William Sadler plays. They don't really go into it a whole lot, but I believe he is referred to as a demon knight, someone who actually hunts demons, and Billy Zane is like the head demon guy. And Billy Zane looked like he had a lot of fun with this role. Kind of your typical survival type thing where you get a bunch of people into a house and they have to survive the night. They're being attacked by a horde of zombies or a horde of demons, I guess, in this case. A lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it. I like the Tales from the Crypt presents aspect to it, and I wish they did a lot more of these because this was actually a lot of fun. They have the opening and ending vignettes with the Crypt Keeper and his whole thing. So really, really decent movie. Really, really worth the watch. I'm not sure. I think they're phasing this one out. It seems to be hard to find, so I don't know if it's going out of print soon or if it's just one that's not stocked very often. Because this is, I think, like 5 or 6 years old now from Scream Factory. So I don't know if they're going out of print or not. But I resorted to eBay so I get the slipcover. And then I did the same thing for its sequel or its follow-up. It's not really a direct sequel. Separate film, Tales from the Crypt presents Bordello of Blood, another vampire movie. William Sadler is in this one briefly as well at the very beginning as a mummy, and the key from the first movie plays a limited role in this one, so there is some tie-in, but this is a separate story, but it is a Tales from the Crypt presents film. Oddly cast Dennis Miller as the lead role of an investigator. Corey Feldman plays a vampire instead of his Lost Boys role of hunting vampires, so nice little turn there. Gets no love at all, original cover art. But I hadn't seen this in a long time. If I had ever even seen it before, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Corey Feldman's ridiculous in it. Chris Sarandon has a ridiculous role in it. Everyone in this is kind of over the top. Really fun vampire movie, and I think very undeserved of his bad praise. If you've not seen this or you haven't seen it in a long time, give it a shot. I think the negative reviews are completely unwarranted. No, it's not the greatest film of all time. Definitely not the best horror film ever, but it was a lot of fun. Movie was plagued with problems. I know Dennis Miller, from what I've read or have seen, was very reluctant to do the role, caused budgeting issues. So this, unfortunately, was the last in the Tales from the Crypt Presents series. I think they were supposed to do a third movie, but that never happened. This kind of killed it for him, because this was a success. This was not, unfortunately. So probably the last two films we'll ever see in this brand ever again, but both very, very fun in my opinion. The second one, highly, highly, highly underrated. New release here, Nightmare Cinema. Kind of got some glare there. As you can see, it's new packaging. And this is on Blu-ray, very inexpensive. This is I don't remember if this was something that was done on a network or if this was its own release. Yeah, it's got Shudder. I don't know if it's a Shudder production and it's going to show up on Shudder or what the deal is, but it's an anthology film. I love anthology films. Again, it's the time of year to watch them. So I heard really good things about this, and I'll go ahead and give it a watch pretty soon. Don't know too much about it, but I hope to report back and say it was really, really fun, which I'm sure it will be. And I just saved the absolute best for last. So talking about things that are underrated, in my opinion, Rob Zombie's Halloween and Halloween 2 on Blu-ray. This is from Canada, purchased on Amazon, but it's a Canadian import. Single disc, so both films on one disc. I've got the 10-disc Halloween collection, which has these films in it already, but those are the director's cuts. These are the theatrical prints of both movies. So I wanted to have every possible version of every movie that's been released. And now this completes my Halloween set. I've got everything that you can possibly get in the Halloween set, except for the bonus disc, that 15th disc in the 15-disc set. And I don't think I have the bonus disc for Rob Zombie's Halloween, which is like a 4.5-hour documentary, which I probably never watch anyway. Regardless, this is, again, a pair of highly underrated films, again, in my opinion. I think Rob Zombie did a really good job with both of them. Rob Zombie doing Halloween just seemed to make a lot of sense. And, he really made this his own. He really made Michael Myers into, I wouldn't say it was a character, like a character piece, but it kind of was on Michael Myers. It really gives him a reason to exist, where I think in the other films he didn't have much of a reason to exist, which is fine because that worked. But this is just his take on it. This is him making it his own. Before I really ramble on about this, I enjoyed both of them quite a bit. I know part 1 was pretty well received. The part 2, I know, just gets absolutely trashed. But I think that's, again, completely unwarranted. I watched part 2 last night. I watched these almost back to back. And part 2 was very gritty. They're both done kind of as grindhouse films. Like Rob Zombie does exploitation versions of Halloween. The second was way more violent than the first. But I really enjoy these. Again, the second one, I think it just gets an unfair shake. So if you haven't seen it in a while, if you're not going to watch it because of the negative reviews, maybe give it a shot. I found them both to be very enjoyable. They're just different from the original movies. And of course, part 2 is the sequel to the remake. So part 1, there's homages and there's tributes to the previous film. And then part 2 is just the sequel to the first film. So it's a completely separate timeline. And I enjoyed them both quite a bit. Again, I think it's unwarranted that they get such a bad rap. So love them or hate them. I've got them. I got both director's cuts and theatrical cuts now. So if you're interested in the theatrical version, this part 2 is a lot different. I know the ending at the very least is a lot different. So this is available on Amazon in the US. It's again import from Canada, but it's a region A and plays just fine, of course, because we're all a region A. And despite being on a single disc, they looked pretty good. So that's what I got in the past month. Going over as much as I can this month in October, trying to watch as many horror films as I can because it's that time of year. It's October and Halloween's right around the corner, so I got a bunch of stuff to go through, a bunch of horror movies to go over. Hopefully, get myself within the season mood, and get a bunch of new stuff coming, just like always. You know, this and Gremlins were pre-orders that were coming out from Best Buy this past month, and then there's more coming out in October from I think Scream Factory and I think Arrow, and I think there's more steelbooks on the way. So get a lot of cool stuff coming up, and have a great Halloween. And thanks for watching. See you next time.